I need to decide if I want to have some of my areas be a positive space and some of them be a negative space. Right now, anything that is pressed into the styrofoam will be the negative space, meaning it's not going to print whenever I put my ink on it. It will remain white instead of the color of the ink. So if I wanted some of these areas to be dark and some of them to be light, I could think through on here if I pressed out all of this background space. Let's see, if I pressed out this area, if I pressed it in and left this area light. So whatever I'm shading in, I will actually press in with this on into my styrofoam. So I have put some of these styluses in your cup, and you'll notice that some of them have a thicker ball at the end and some of them are thinner. You can use these in addition to the end of your pencil or like your eraser end or your pencil or a pen to essentially just push in those areas. But I'm going to go through and very carefully just press that in, staying inside my lines. This will really only work if you have, I'm going to go in with a smaller tipped one to get some of the details in that small area. But this will work if you have a design that is clean enough and simple enough that you can press in like this. If not, then you will just want to take one of the narrow stylus and go through and just trace your lines with this, or you could trace it with an ink pen. But you want to make sure that you're following the path that you have. And the more that you kind of press it and remove it away, the less likely ink will get stuck inside of there. So again, if I wanted to also make it match, to make it symmetrical, and I want to press this side in so there's a contrast between the positive and the negative space, then I would make sure that I'm doing the same thing with my stylus. Got a little crazy there in the end. So pushing that in, and then taking my stylus to push away the styrofoam. Anything that's pushed away in the styrofoam will remain white. Whatever is raised, that becomes your relief, and that will have the color that shows up. So I'm just going to think through other areas that I want to have raised versus pressed away. Right, I have traced mine around. One thing to point out, and I need to probably say this toward the beginning of the video, is we should have paper underneath what we're doing at all time. I'll pass out some manila paper because we don't want to accidentally press through and rip our styrofoam. But you can see how there's now a relief where the areas that I have pressed away look indented. They are going in thanks to applying pressure with this little ball tip of the stylus. I think I might actually color that one in really quick though, because I like having a repetition of lines and a repetition and variety of incorporating positive and negative space. So the positive space on this is raised, the negative space is indented in. Next, I'm going to show you how we print it, keeping in mind that this is my area that will always go into the center for the radial design. And you can see how I've pressed this back to show the indentation.